It's in the thumbnail. It's in the title. I want to talk about Dame and James Harden. I think they're two very interesting situations. We talked about them briefly last week. I'm going to keep it a bean. I didn't have all the requisite information I wanted to have. I took some time this week to really just catch myself up on the situations, where they're at. And I wanted to share it with y'all and more so get y'all opinion on both of their situations to an extent, but more so the Dame one. And this is, and essentially, my question is, and I'm going to just start out with the top, and then I'll go into some more information and my thoughts on it. There's this thought and idea process that because Dame's agent and Dame himself has basically said they want to go to Miami, that he will be unhappy if he goes anywhere else, that no other team should make an offer for him. And if a team does, mainly because he won't play. I had people DMing me on. I had people DMing me on Instagram. I had people DMing me on TikTok and Twitter over the last week. I posted a video about Dame like a week ago saying that I'm not worried about the Miami Heat, but we were talking about on a stream of the thought that Miami Heat are going all in on this Dame deal, a Dame deal that in theory truly can't even happen with all their best offers until the end of this month, and we'll get into that in a second. Why? And they let the two lead guards who helped get them to the playoff, get them to the finals, walk in free agency. And people are telling me, well, Strus and Vincent were trash in the finals. Like, they were cold in the finals. We don't need them. We got Tyler Hero back, which you do. Like, you know what I mean? Tyler Hero is going to be great next year for y'all. He was great, last year for y'all. And everyone's telling me, even if another team does trade for Dame, he's just not going to play. I don't think that's feasible. Like, I don't think that's feasible logic. And I just need to know if I'm tripping. So let's get into this Dame stuff, right? So Dame wants to go to Miami. We know this. And I'm looking to the side because that's where my notes are. Dame wants to go to Miami. Miami's essentially, I think this was from ESPN. It was an ESPN article I was reading. Their best deal, or what could potentially be their best deal, is a maximum offer of 2 first-round picks, the 2028 and 2030. They have 5 years of first-round pick swaps available that they could do. They don't have to use all of them. They got them 5. They got the 2022 first-round pick, Nikola Jovic, young guy still, because the Blazers have said they wanted young guys. And then they have this year's 2023 first-round pick, Jamie Jasquez Jr. But the thing about Jasquez Jr. is he can't be traded until July 31st because he was drafted. Portland doesn't want Tyler Hero because he has 4 years on his contract and he's worth $120 million. So there's an opportunity for a third team to pick up Tyler Hero and then give their pick to Portland. That's seeming like would be the best scenario that the Miami Heat can pull off. Give him some picks, give him some pick swaps, give him those 2 young guys. Tyler Hero goes to a third team, and then that third team gives hopefully a good pick to the Blazers. And then, obviously, the Miami Heat get Damian Lillard, right? Yes, I agree. If they get Dame, they got to give up Tyler. I just don't think the Blazers want Tyler because of his contract. Because at this point, the Blazers are, if they give up Dame, it's obviously we're going young, we're rebuilding, we're building around Shaedon Sharpe, Scoot Henderson, and Anthony Simons, and we're going from there and see what we got. And then we can even still trade Jeremy Grant and get some more picks from him. Like they're set up for a good rebuild. They have, between Dame and Jeremy Grant, they got 2 really good pieces to trade away. They just got to see what their trades are. Now, my conversation or my only hiccup or thoughts on this was the Blazers don't have to trade him to Miami. There are a lot of people who are saying the Blazers should trade him to Miami. He stayed there. He stayed 10 toes down. He tried to win a championship in Portland. He was there for, some, I don't want to say questionable GM decisions, because I think, to me, the Portland Trail Blazers, to an extent, did as much as they could in terms of trying to build a competent roster around him. There were a couple of years where I think the Portland Trail Blazers, I don't know if they had an opportunity to fully win a championship, but they had an opportunity to beat some really, really good teams. But then Nurkic goes down with some injury. Dame ends up injured like 2 years ago. They trade away CJ. Like, I think they had an opportunity there to try to make some real noise, but I think some injuries hit him at the wrong time. So now I think NBA fans are split between, do you just trade a superstar where he wants to go because he was there for your team? Or do you, as the GM, and this is this GM's biggest trade of his career? What is his name? I wrote it down. Joe. Did I not write it down? I swore I wrote this man's name down. I guess I did not. Joe Cronin. I knew it was Joe something. It's Joe Cronin's biggest GM move of his career. Hands down, biggest move of his career. My thing is, and that's you making you bring up a good point, Sleazy, and I'm gonna talk about that in a second. My thing is this, 2 points. One, Joe Cronin doesn't have to send him to Miami. He can wait until they get the best option. The only reason I'm saying they can wait till they get the best option is because if they do trade away Dame, it's not like they're trading away Dame to try to continue to win. If they trade away Dame, it's going to be not necessarily full-blown tank, but it's going to be youth development. And youth development typically means we're going to lose games, right? So if they don't feel like they get a adequate trade package for Dame, and Dame is, because I feel like people forget this part of it as well, Dame is under contract for the next 1, 2, 3. What is Damian Lillard's contract? 4 years? I want to say he still has on his contract because he re-signed that extension, that 2-year extension last year. He's still under contract for the next, oh gosh, yeah, 4 years. Let me pull this up right here so y'all can see this. Oh, screen share right. Damian Lillard is under contract until 2027. He has a player option in 2027. He could be an unrestricted free agent in 2026 if he decides to turn down that player option. But with that player option being $63 million, he's essentially under contract till 2027, 4 years from now. My statement is this. There's no rush for the for the Portland Trailblazers to trade Damian Lillard. They have no reason to rush to trade him. So if there's no rush to trade him, and yes, you bring up a good point. Then the conversation goes, see, I thought somebody said something different, but they didn't. The conversation goes to, well, what other options are out there? I don't think there's necessarily other teams that are 100% interested in Dame, or let me rephrase. I don't think there are teams that have like all the picks, right? Those type of teams. Like when I think of OKC, when I think of the Jazz, those are teams that I've seen like articles from The Ringer and articles from Bleacher Report talk about like a what if scenario, if you will, that since these two teams are teams that have a ton of picks, and it's clear that the Portland Trailblazers want to go into a rebuild and want draft capital in return, they could easily come over the top of almost anybody's offer and get Dame if they wanted Dame. I don't necessarily think that's what they want, though, considering Dame's going to be 37 when he's a free agent at the end of his career, making at the end of his contract, making $63 million, which right now sounds crazy. And I feel like maybe I'm talking in circles, but this is something that really triggered me, but how many people was really like not seeing this. The amount of people that said if Dame gets traded to another team, he will just sit out and not play. Considering he has 4 years left under his contract, that's literally just not possible. There's no reported injury going on with him right now. So if he pulled a random injury card out of nowhere, it'd be obviously a red flag. He would have to play. He would have to play. The amount of people that said he wasn't going to play, it's mind-boggling to me. So maybe I'm tripping. So I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to clip this. I'm going to find a clip this, put this together. Y'all going to see this on TikTok sometime this weekend. Because I really want to know if people truly think if Dame gets traded to a different team, does he not play? That doesn't make sense to me. But maybe people seeing something that I don't see. Yeah, there aren't a lot of teams that are willing to give up a lot of draft compensation or a lot of valuable players. I agree with you there. But I also just think, And maybe he does end up in Miami. And you know what's even crazier? That's the last thing I want to say about this Miami thing. And then what's up, VR? I'm going to click your comment and address that in a second because you are correct. The crazy thing about me in this whole Dame situation, and I come across as a hater because people's logic really is, I think, frustrating me. And that's why I'm coming across as a hater. But the wildest part is I want him to go to Miami. I think the Miami deal is the best, maybe not for the Portland Trailblazers, but for Dame, I agree. The Miami deal is fantastic. Miami needs a dynamic guard. Miami needs scoring. I've been saying for the last 3 off seasons, Miami needs to add some more scoring to their team, and they have yet to do that. Dame would be the scoring that they need. We'll just have to wait and see if it happens, because also Joe Cronin made it very clear that he's willing to wait months for this to happen. We saw the KD deal last summer when Kevin Durant, once again, in July, was like, yo, trade me or fire everybody. Well, neither happened, and they waited until the trade deadline to finally trade him. So Dame might be on this team, the Portland Trailblazers, until the trade deadline. He might be on there till next summer. We don't know at this point. I'm gonna keep it a dream. We really don't know. Just wanna, yes, the Blazers do want an all-star level talent, which is, I don't know what the Blazers. I get why the Blazers are saying all this because it is Damian Lillard. Yes, do his contract look a little crazy? Yeah, but is he coming off his best year statistically? Also, yes. But is he going to be 36 years old making $63 million? Like, there are a lot of factors, and I get it, because they don't want to be the team that feels like they got fleeced and missed out on trading away their best player in their franchise history, because you might disagree, but to me, Dame's the best Blazer to ever put on a jersey. If you ain't got him as his best, you got him at least top 3. You might say Clyde or Clyde, like, I don't know. Brandon Roy, if he never gets injured. They're talking about trading away the best player to ever put on their jersey. So it's a big deal. I'm not mad at it. Moving on, I'm going to move on real quick to talk about James Harden. Bill Walton, you can have that conversation too. Bill Walton, but another guy who's dealt with injury, though. Crazy talented, just another guy that dealt with injury. I still think he's going to fleece if he gets traded to Miami. That's the only thing I'm thinking. The only reason I don't think they'll get fleeced is because, for me, in my mind, if he does get traded to Miami, and this is only because I really don't think the Blazers are in any rush to trade him. The way Joe Cronin's been talking, he's like, yo, we will just vibe out. Because and the thing that the Blazers did that's kind of good, they put themselves in a position where if Dame want to just sit out, they chilling because they got Scoot, Anthony, and Shaedon Sharpe. They have their guards of the future. They have their young core. They could just start right now and say, yo, young core, go figure it out. And you got Jeremy Grant and Rangy Wink. Like, you can trade Jeremy Grant. You can keep him out there if you want his defense and some veteran leadership in that locker room. Like, there's no rush. That's the only reason I don't expect the Blazers to get fleeced, because fleeces happen when GMs are thirsty because they feel like they have to do something because they're going to miss out. If Dame was on the last year of his deal, then sure, yeah. The deal probably would have been done already because they would have felt hungry to do something. This man got mad years left. They're in no rush. He did that to himself. If you're going to keep it a being, he did it to himself when he signed his extension. If he was iffy about being there, he shouldn't have signed his extension. But in the same breath, I understand why you signed that extension, because it's crazy to turn down 2 years and $120 million. They're so close. Blazers on 4 picks. Heat offering 3. It's happening this week. I don't think it's going to happen this week, VR, because I think if it happens, the Blazers also want, we were saying earlier before you hopped on, they want JJJ, Vasquez Jr., the guy they just drafted, and they can't trade the Heat. Physically and legally cannot trade him until July 31st. So at the very earliest, it's not happening until July 31st. At the earliest. Because to me, because the Blazers are saying they want young talent and young players, I don't see a world where they don't try to get that rookie. They have to go try to get that rookie. And also, I think a third team got to be involved. This is the other thing I wrote down and forgot to say. A third team has to be involved because the Miami Heat are known to be a good team. They done been to the finals twice in the last 4 years. They done been to the Eastern Conference Finals 3 times in the last 4 years. Their draft picks aren't high. So yeah, they can give them 3 draft picks, but they're going to be the end of the first round. A third team has to get involved that wants Tyler Hero, that is at least going to be a middle of the pack, if not bad team. So that pick is high. Because what's the point of getting 3 picks from the Miami Heat if you're giving them Damian Lillard who's still going to be there for the next 3 years, they don't plan on being bad. So those picks aren't going to be good. Like, there's just a lot of levels to this in my mind that I understand why the Trailblazers are like, we're not in a rush to do this because we have to make sure we make the right deal. And I don't think people is clicking with that because everybody just want Dame to be in Miami Heat jersey, which I get because everybody in the NBA community has been wanting Dame out of Portland for like the last 3 years. So I get it. Everybody wanting him to go how to win somewhere for the last 3 years. So I get it. But we got to use some logic here too. Ah, my light just died. That's all right. We got to use some logic here. Oh, all right. Now that that's off my chest,